to that.
Lock in. Lock in.
I love it when they count it out.
There's more to come as far as football.
Okay.
We're coming back.
But there are others who we're not really
Another one
putting
to eat.
time in. We're not putting the work in. We're not clocking in so that we can do what God is calling us to do.
We on our Grussle, our grinding,
Clock
our
in,
hustle.
clock in. Clock in.
So 97. Yeah. That's big. Another round for the ball, man.
Like, this beat goes stupid.
It happens. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. You go in the building.
Here with my brothers again. I just want to say I'm blessed, I'm happy, and I am blessed. Amen. Here we are. So let's get right into the segments, brother. Amen.
Celerico.
Yeah.
We on our Grussle, our grinding, our
So
hustle.
97, man. It's gonna be a vibe, like always. Let's get it.
Clock in. Clock in.
Yeah, I was locked in there.
Yeah, you been locked in lately, man.
I'm back.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's 4 or 5 in a row.
I'm back.
Yeah, man, so
We had to knock off the Russ. What episode was that? I was tripping, dog.
that was like, I want to say it was
That was one of the
90.
first ones. Was it after the break?
Yeah, definitely. It was like in between 85 and 90, something like that.
It was okay. It was after I went absent, I think.
Yeah.
One day I'll tell y'all. We'll tell y'all
Yeah.
about how I just disappeared.
And one,
If y'all watch the YouTube, they'll be like, "Yo, where did Austin go?"
what
Yeah,
episode?
I'd handle some business, man.
Yeah, that was, let's see.
Emergency.
That was in November, so it was like, it had to have been like 90s.
Oh man.
90 or something, like 89, 90. But
I'm back. Man.
Yeah.
Co-host Austin Hamilton here. I'm back.
Clock in.
Yes, sir. Co-host here, Marshall Hamilton.
Clock in.
welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time. We always start off with a vibe, and 3 episodes away,
Brought to you
man.
by.
We on our Grussle, our grinding, our hustle.
The drop. I gotta play the drop. Where is it at? Oh, E, did you get rid of it? The bar joint? I don't see it.
Exclusive.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Bar.
Yeah. Look,
Oh wow.
shout out to Gruss, man. 2 new projects, H&H 22 and Ballad of Bobby Johnson. Y'all go download that.
Yes, sir.
You know, got to plug E, man.
We on our Grussle, our grinding, our hustle.
I listened to the Ballad of Bobby Johnson yesterday during my workout, and yeah, that joint's tough.
Had you call it time?
Yeah, I gotta listen to H&H 22. But I went to Apple Music, quick download, Grussle, Grussle. You'll find it.
We on our Grussle,
man,
our grinding, our hustle.
Plug E. Nick, you got anything new going on, man? We could plug, or I know you look. Neek's been working, dog. Neek.
Yeah, Nick's big time.
The city loves Neek. I'll just say that. Yeah, the
I
city
seen
loves
the
Neek.
Drew League collab with the apparel.
Yeah, Drew merch.
That merch was crazy. I told Meg like,
it
yo,
goes stupid.
he hit me about taking some pictures for him, but I need that gear, dog.
Yeah,
So
shout
take
out.
some pictures.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Hamilton
I'm
family.
getting a haircut too. When I'm getting on Friday.
I got a haircut this past Friday, so my confidence is
It's up?
It's up. It's definitely up.
Okay.
And
Bro, I ain't got to
look,
shape up in probably like 7 years, though.
you haven't got to shape up in 7 years. But look, when you got Nick has dreads, right? So when you have dreads,
You've had to shape up.
Because I was afraid my line was going, so, I had a little nappy bush, and I would just tell them, just hit the curl.
Yeah.
You don't need to shape up, like...
Are you going to keep your dreads forever?
We'll see. I don't know, because I feel like they get long and heavy.
Yeah.
And like Marcus, like, I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
So we'll
and
see.
he runs, too. Shout out to Mark.
We'll see.
So, do people, just cut them joints? Let's say they get way too long. Do people, how, women, when they
I've seen
their
a
hair's
video.
too long, they'll cut.
Oh, maintain length? Yeah.
Yeah, well, not cut, not trim it, but let's say it goes down to your back, and you're like, man, I don't want it going that far.
People
So,
will cut it
they'll
off.
cut it down. They'll cut it to their shoulder, for example. All right.
I think Future cut his hair off recently. I have 2 friends that had locks for years, cut their locks off, put them in a trash bag, did whatever with them for years, and reattached them. It's like I could introduce them to you tomorrow, and you would never know. You'd be like, oh, he got dreads. He's had dreads for a long time.
How
But
did that
they
even?
cut them off.
I mean,
Literally reattached them.
Yeah. That's crazy.
how does that even work?
You'll weave it back in.
You weave it back in, and then once the lock bonds to the new hair, it's like a lock. So then it just grows. Then the new growth grows, and it's locked in.
That's wild.
That's hilarious.
That's what our hair does, bro.
Yeah.
Like they used to braid maps in our hair to when we were slaves. That's when they would braid maps. They would hide food in our hair. You could put grains in your hair, and then put a cornrow, and then you running.
History class by Nick.
Look, shout out to Black History Month, man.
And I got the tea on, too.
in
It was good.
3 weeks. It's early Black History Month lesson.
That actually just reminded me. Can you share to the people your theory about basketball players with dreads?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you've ever shared this before.
Yeah,
probably
I've done it on the pod for sure. All right, so this is only at the NBA level. All right. Actually, no.
Marshall's a fool, by the way.
NBA.
Wait,
college.
let me just say this. Marshall, when I tell you, on a daily basis, he comes up with these different theories and
But they make
just
sense.
comparisons. This guy's I don't know. I don't understand how he
I don't know where it
comes
comes
up
from.
with this stuff.
I don't know where it
and,
comes
why?
from.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. All right, so actually, shout out. This is actually from my guy Jersey. So for once, it didn't come directly from me. So we were in the cafeteria in college, right? His nickname Jersey. His name's Ramir Roberts. Shout out to Ramir. We call him Jersey because we went to school in Virginia. And he's one of the only guys that was from Jersey, so that's why we called him that. So, anyways. He was like, man, dudes with dreads don't get buckets. I don't know anyone in the NBA with dreads that gets buckets. Even in the college level, there may be some. When we're talking about dreads, not the starter joints, not the, but he didn't come in with dreads though.
All right.
The starter joints, not the starter joints. I'm talking about
Josh
long.
probably
Max, Ja gotta be the only one.
But I'm talking about they're dread heads. You know what I'm saying? They've had they came into the league with long dreads.
Like Kenneth Fareed.
Yeah, we're talking about NBA. We're not talking about high school.
Jay Crowder.
He doesn't get buckets.
No, I'm just naming names.
Yeah. So the only guy we came out with was Troy Hudson. Troy Hudson used to get buckets.
He had the skimp. He had the
skimp joints, but Troy Hudson from the T-Wolves used to get buckets. But if someone, we gotta put this poll out. Tag it or give us the names of NBA players with dreads or D1, major Division I college players with dreads. Shoulder length and longer.
Ja's gonna be the GOAT when it comes to best hoopers with dreads.
Yeah, but I don't.
He's probably already taken that.
Yeah, but he didn't come.
Nah, he did. Nah, you're right.
He didn't come to the league. He had a nappy bush.
Yeah,
with this
right.
like he didn't come in. I don't count him. He doesn't.
Jimmy Butler had dreads, but
yeah, my man really had a weave.
Yeah, man. So that's my theory. I'm trying to think of the.
Yeah, he did. That was hilarious.
I'm not gonna hold you. I did that one time. I did that with my cornrows, my hang time. Look,
this dude.
I had as much hang time as Nikola Jokic.
You've been through it, man.
That's why I almost went with the dreads.
No wonder why he was mad.
Look. So everyone here, they can vouch for it. I had cornrows from 7th grade to summer going into my 11th grade.
I'm gonna send you a picture so you can
chill.
flash this up.
Chill.
We're gonna clip this.
And before I cut my hair, I was because at that time, like dreads, especially the DMV, was becoming like way more popular or whatever. I knew I didn't want cornrows anymore, but I was like, you know what? I'm either gonna get dreads or cut my hair, and I didn't have any money, so I needed to find someone to do it for free, and I couldn't, and I decided
to cut dreads.
My hair. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to get dreads.
Yeah, I considered it. Yeah, and
so you definitely would have been getting.
I wouldn't be getting no buckets. I wouldn't have got to college. I probably wouldn't have. Wheeling definitely would have cooked me off the shrimp. This off me having dreads.
You would have gotten no buckets.
It was the best.
He's terrible.
It was the best decision in my life to cut my hair. My whole trajectory and everything changed after I cut my hair. I grew like 4 inches. Started getting joints.
You was getting what's up?
I wasn't getting no joints before. Interest from women. So anyway, let's get into some quick.
Wait, hold on, man. I gotta do this because this guy he pisses me off. Let's see if he answers.
Probably about to cuss you out.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
He's not gonna answer. 928.
Yeah, we're calling Coach Wheelan. He coached Asa, Nico, and I. So we got to get him on the
This
pod.
is a PSA to Chris Wheelan.
He's been faking.
I'm trying to get this guy on the podcast
2.5 years.
for 97 episodes. I don't want to hear a voicemail. You got to get on the podcast, man. The people want it. You've got some great stories that they need to hear. Come on. We'll clip that up and send it to him. We're gonna call him out. We gotta get you on the podcast, Will.
For real.
All right.
All right.
What we got, man?
Quick hitters, first and foremost. Austin getting killed by all of social media about his Skip Bayless tape. On Instagram and TikTok.
Which is hilarious.
So,
we don't really get love like that.
Here's the thing. So typically, there's like a views to like comment ratio, right? That's like, let's say you have, like 2,000 views, maybe you get like 10 comments, right? You get 50,000 views, maybe you get like 50 comments. We had like 700 views, like 38 comments.
Yeah. Crazy.
So first off, shout
out to y'all, man.
Yeah, shout out to y'all, but shout out to Nico for
for clipping that up.
Clock in. Clock in.
And I didn't think it was going to be that big of a controversy on social media, but basically people were saying, like I said on the podcast, if you read the tweet, he wasn't trying to be insensitive to DeMar Hamlin. He was more so kind of calling out how do you even cancel a game in general at this point in the season or whatever. But like I said, you have to kind of read the room and your wording matters, right? So anyways, apparently Skip has more
dude. I had no idea.
Supporters than I don't know anyone who's like I just rock with Skip. But
it showed.
It showed.
That was a shocking part. I'm like,
The comments were. Let me
I'm
read some comments.
I'm
I'm
thinking. Oh, like people are gonna be like, yeah, Skip's whack. Like, but yeah, his cult. They showed out for him, man.
I gotta pull up.
So shout out to the Skip fans, I guess.
Yeah, pull up some comments. All right,
What do you call his mob? What do they call it?
I don't even know.
Someone
They're not
said,
hip enough to.
Yeah.
someone said, bro can't read. Read the tweet slower. Good grief.
I still stand by everything that I said.
Yeah, nah, I mean, look.
And we can clip that up again.
You gotta stand on that. All right, like
We can
Draymond
clip that up
said,
again.
You gotta stand on that. Let me see if.
Because y'all want to cancel my guy Kyrie, all these other dudes. Nah.
Let me see something real quick.
He's a professional like wordsmith. He knew what he was saying.
He's a professional troller. That's what he is.
Yeah, like he knew
Yeah.
He gets paid to use words.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: even though I agree that the tweet was taken out of context, let's just say 95% of the commenters they don't look like us. So,
Oh, of course not.
yeah, it was funny though.
It's also crazy because like I don't care.
Yeah, obviously,
But like I could see why certain people like could really like get caught up in that type of stuff because there was a lot of negative comments.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like all negative.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's
And
like,
that's scary, man. Like
that's the world we live in. It's even if Skip was like a good dude, right? Like I'm not gonna say he's a bad dude.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's probably
him,
a
but
great guy. I don't know.
like a likable guy. He's
Yeah.
not likable in his TV personality.
Right.
I'll say that. There would still be people who, defend him to the death. Just like there's people who defend Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. and all these other TV personalities, and it's like y'all don't even defend your freaking brother and best friend and significant other, cousin. Like y'all don't even defend them like that.
I know.
But for these people you don't know, you're willing to like publicly put your name behind them and say all these wild stuff. And even like, look, I saw this and look, it may come off as insensitive to some, but I think it's right. A lot of people were like, man, y'all, because it's the way that the world works where people just repost stuff or post stuff because everyone else is doing it and they want to seem relevant, right? And so here's the comment I saw about DeMar Hamlin, or someone posted this. Y'all praying for DeMar, y'all asking everyone to pray for DeMar Hamlin and doing all these things, but y'all don't ask anyone really to pray for other people in your life that actually matter. And there are people who, celebrities who die and everyone's reposting it, and it's like, and again, it's not you're trying to be insensitive, but y'all act like it's and I'm not talking about celebrities that like you're like really big fans of. I'm talking about people who you never followed, you never interacted with, and it's just fake to me.
Yeah,
it's fake, and it's like
it's that need. People think they have to post about something tragic that happened, right? Or something that is a headline, whether it's like a tragedy or someone that passed away. It's like I use the Nipsey Hussle example. When Nipsey Hussle died, I saw a girl that I knew, who I know for a fact does not listen to Nipsey Hussle, and she posted him. I posted a picture with her, like, by a mural of him, and I commented. I'm like, "Yo, like, you don't know who this guy is. You've never listened to one song. And just because certain people that you might be surrounded by, were affected by it. Like that doesn't mean you have to post. Like I'm not about to." Like the dude from the Ellen DeGeneres show, I didn't know homeboy.
I didn't.
I'm not about to be like, oh, rest in peace, like, blah, blah, blah.
I can sympathize, like he was a father, had kids.
For sure.
But y'all post
you don't have
stuff,
to.
Y'all post stuff, and y'all don't really care at the end of the day. Like, let's just call it, y'all really don't care. Y'all don't. And with DeMar Hamlin, this is another thing that I don't like. 99% of y'all did not say a prayer for this dude. Because I know most of y'all don't pray in general, but 99% y'all pray for tomorrow. Pray for y'all tell other people to pray when you didn't pray for him.
How do you feel about like?
So like let's just cut.
How do you
cut
feel
all
about? How do you feel about the NFL with the shirts and all that stuff? Like, how do you feel about that? Is it a reach?
I don't think it's a reach, but I think that there's.
It's business.
Yeah, it's
business.
Is it genuine? That's the thing that I question. Is it genuine?
I think.
Is it genuine? Because, again, they're a business, and it's what will cause outrage if we don't look like we're, supporting this dude, right? And
I thought it was a reach. I mean, I understand, the reaction of the players, and, the league probably felt they wanted to kind of reflect that, from the players, but I didn't think it was necessary. But knowing the business of the NFL, and, you get certain earned media from things like that, marketing value, there's an algorithm that these media companies, have to abide by.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, I'm not here to say it was it wasn't genuine at all, but I don't know. I
think them doing it this week is okay to me because it's the week after. But if they do it throughout the playoffs,
I don't see that.
Then it's like, all right, y'all are reaching. So,
but he's I think he's been released from the hospital. He's definitely trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and shout out to the medical team and everyone involved. But I'm not a fan.
Everything didn't have to be reacted to. Study.
Yeah, because
it's okay to not say anything.
And again, I gotta just call it what it is.
We didn't even mean to get to this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these women, they don't freaking watch football. They don't care. They don't. They really don't. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't repost and care to a degree, but I'm just saying the motive behind it. A lot of it is, I just want to look like I care, and I want to look like I know or I care about football and all these other things. It's like, like you said with dude from Ellen DeGeneres. I'm not gonna repost RIP because I don't know dude. No, I didn't follow him. And again, to be honest with you, it doesn't affect my life one bit. And I don't. And there's nothing I can do.
It's life, man.
It sucks.
Unfortunate.
I don't really care. I mean, it sounds bad, but I really didn't care. So call it what it is. I didn't.
I mean, you had no affiliation.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, and I'm not going to be fake about it. And there are people who watch the show and follow dude. Like, yeah, I get that, but a lot of y'all didn't. So, anyways, let's talk about. We got to talk about my Jags.
We don't need to talk
pulling
about
off. The impossible and winning 5 straight, and on route to winning that 5 straight, they beat the Titans twice, which we haven't done in years, and the Cowboys. And I'm pointing this out because my brother Brandon's a Cowboys fan, Austin's a Titans fan. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. But shout out to
I'll talk about it.
Shout out to Duval. Shout out to the Jags. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Jags. I'm be honest, I didn't have any, and I'm not going to say I didn't have any faith, but I was prepared for the worst because we don't play well against the Titans, especially in meaningful games. So, that said, the NFL playoff picture, man,
it's rigged.
It is, probably, to be honest with you. But it's interesting because...
I'm kidding. But I'm not.
The matchups in the AFC are actually really good. And I actually saw this today. And
who's your pick? Forget all that. Who's your pick? Who's your Super Bowl pick?
Nah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the oldest quarterback in the AFC playoff race is Mahomes, and he's 27. Everyone else is mad young, which is great for the league. And speaking of the rake part, I don't think that's a coincidence. And then on the NFC side, you have a lot of veteran quarterbacks that are familiar names, but I don't know, man. I don't see this Super Bowl matchup being a traditional one. Like, the Niners look good. I mean, I know Brock Purdy's a rookie and he's Mr. Relevant, but I mean, anyone can make it in the NFC. I feel like on the AFC end, I'm just going with the Bills, man. I feel like the whole Damar Hamlin thing is just gonna, NFL team's gonna ride that wave.
I can't trust the Bills.
So, my mind is saying Mahomes, and out of the NFC, I don't even really know, man. My heart is saying the Bills. Out of the AFC, it'd be wild if Brady got back, though.
I can't.
That would be wild, but
I can't see it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta think. Who are you thinking about?
I got the Bengals, Eagles. I think the Bengals are the best team in the league right now. Joe Burrow's playing lights out. Defense is playing lights out. I think Jamar Chase is back. They can run the ball. They're tough. And I feel like they're still kind of under the radar, which is kind of crazy. And then the Eagles, they're just really good. Shout out, I know, Eric, you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, you can say it again.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing home games. It's tough to win in Philly. And I just like Hurts, man. I think he's a leader. I was a little worried about them kind of losing a rhythm, but I can't see anybody beating them. The Niners can give them a good run for their money, but again, having to win in Philly, that's going to be extremely hard. So I'm going Burrow versus Jalen Hurts, and I got the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I think
a bad pick.
I think Burrow's him. I think he's him.
I know. I like Burrow a lot. I'm gonna go Bills. I don't trust the Eagles right now just because of Hurts being out as long as he was.
He looked good though.
He did, but I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't know.
Has he been to the playoffs before? This is his first year in the playoffs?
Nah, it's the second, I think.
They went, yeah.
I think they were a wild card team.
Yeah.
I feel like somehow the Cowboys are gonna get there.
No way. No.
Get where?
No.
I don't know, man. I feel like
you think the Hold on.
Wait.
Cowboys. So you're saying the Cowboys have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl?
yeah.
In an alternate timeline.
Yeah, I'm going Bills.
So
Cowboys.
you gonna stand on that?
I don't really care.
10 toes.
It's a hot take. I'm going Bills Cowboys 90s rematch.
Wow.
So I'm going with.
Okay.
You want the safe pick? I gotta go. I gotta do something. I gotta do something different.
What the Jags about to do?
Yeah,
We don't got to talk about that. We did everything.
Very different for the Cowboys.
We did everything that we were supposed to do. All right. Real quick, a few more things, and we'll get into the main topic. But yesterday's national championship was really bad. I didn't even watch it, to be honest with you.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it. I wasn't really pumped to watch it for real. But how do you feel about? My voice just cracked like crazy. Hold on. let me get some bass back. Hold on now. Let me drink some water.
Federico.
I bring my water. Anyways, how do you feel about this, like the college playoff at at this point. I know there's a rule that's going to move it to 12 teams in I think 2024, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and then just yesterday, man, like that was bad.
Yeah,
like that should never happen in any type of championship.
Yeah, it's disappointing because the games before that were like amazing.
Yeah.
So, I actually went into it thinking TCU had a chance. I liked their quarterback. They played fast, they could score. And I felt after the Ohio State game, which Ohio State should have won that game, in my opinion. But I felt Georgia just didn't have that dominance that, they've shown. But, boy, was I wrong. I was not expecting to blow it like that. I was actually hooping yesterday, and I look at my phone at halftime. It was 31-7. I'm like, all right, this can't be right. But it just goes to show, man, like that SEC talent is just
different.
It's just not even close. Like, you could, like, it was visible. Like, you could see it. Like, I'm looking at their offensive line compared to, like, Georgia's defensive line. It's just, it looked like JV versus varsity, like high school. The quarterback from Georgia, what's his name again?
Stetson Bennett.
Bennett. Like, I mean, dude's basically my age. So he just had a certain calmness about him, and he's a true leader. To win,
he could rent a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To win back-to-back national championships like it's
tough. Man.
That's really hard to do.
In a playoff too.
Yeah.
Not like back in the day where it was BCS where you already were predetermined to go to the national championship. Yeah. You only had to win one game.
So, yeah, it was disappointing. Again, I think just based on the previous games that were really good. So I was expecting it to be a shootout, really. But, yeah, man, that SEC talent is different. Like, you got, talking to Dad about that, you got third stringers that could start for, like, any team in the country.
Yeah, they transferred to, I mean, there's been a ton of stories of backups transferring to Big 10, Big 12, ACC school, Pac-10.
You have to, because it's just like, they're bringing in
and they, I mean,
five-star after five-star. And I'll say, the last thing I'll say, I think, I wanted to see Alabama in that. I mean, they lost 2 games, but they were better than TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they could have beat Michigan or Ohio State, but it is what it is. But yeah, congrats to Georgia. Good dogs.
All right, last thing, man. Austin's a LeBron guy.
You not a LeBron guy?
No. I'm a Laker guy, though.
So you're not a LeBron guy? But he's on the Lakers?
How does that... I mean, it's not that difficult to comprehend. I don't know why.
He's on your team.
Just because he's not my guy doesn't mean I don't support him.
He won you a championship.
He won us a championship, or the team won a championship?
He won you a championship. Because y'all was what?
So why?
We're not gonna get there.
Why hasn't he done it since then? If it was him.
What do you mean? Why hasn't he done it?
If it was just him, why haven't we won the championship since? If he won his championship,
we gonna get another one.
He's the best player.
We gonna get another one.
So are you a Lakers fan?
Me and LeBron gonna get another one.
You gonna be on the court with him?
I might.
Be on the court with LeBron?
I might.
So speaking of LeBron, there's like a bunch of social media outlets posting at like 3 p.m. on Friday that LeBron's gonna have a surprise interview at 10:30 on ESPN today. Okay.
I'm thinking.
And then he just goes on to talk about.
Well, what were your thoughts? Like, what was going through your head when you saw that?
The only thing that would have made any sense for them to size it like that is he's announcing when he's going to retire. Like, 2024, 2025. Like, I already have it set. I'm going to retire. even that would have been a stretch to do, but he literally just talked about.
I didn't even watch it when I saw.
I don't. Why? Like,
but seriously, what did he talk about?
Dave McMenamin, I think, asked him about him about to pass Kareem's record, and basically LeBron was like, "Well, I never do anything with it, I've never played for individual accolades, and if we do it and we're not winning, then it leaves a bad taste in my mouth." And just kind of talked about him scoring his first bucket against the Kings, and they were playing the Kings like that night or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pointless.
Who gave the okay for whoever on social media to like hype that up? Because in my mind,
LeBron must.
In my mind, I'm thinking, like you said, either like retirement or he's demanding a trade. Well, those are the only two things that crossed my mind. And when I was watching, leading up to it, and they kind of gave some hints, and yeah, just talking about how he's about to break the scoring record, which I hate to downplay because like pretty freaking big deal, but it's one of those things like I wish like we could go back, because if Jordan were to be that close to breaking a record, and because you didn't have the same access to what you have to these players now, right? So like we would have been tuned in, so yeah, it sucks because it's downplaying a moment that like will be historic, but yeah, the way they hyped it up, it was not good. So
yeah, and I think the one thing that he did say that makes sense, and people have said it before, but he's breaking the scoring record without really being like a true scorer. Like he's always been a pass first guy. So I mean, I get it. That's true. But I don't know. There's an agenda behind it. I don't know what it is. It was stupid to me. Like why even do it? But
I guess he doesn't do sit downs like that too often.
No,
I don't know.
It was by design. I don't know. It was weird, but that's your boy.
He's a goat, so.
We're not going to go there tonight. We got to keep this short. All right, so real quick as we get into the main topic, this came to mind because as a player, I think it would have helped me to kind of know how to do this. And now that I'm a parent and I train kids, and Ace is, he's far away from playing, but it's something that I feel like is important to talk about. And it's how do you actually set goals as a player going into games, but also if you're a parent or sibling or someone who's, kind of involved in that player's life, like how do you set goals for them? How do you talk to them about their goals going into games, going into the season? Because I also feel like this is another big disconnect when it comes to not just basketball, but just youth sports and sports in general, right? I'll give an example. There's a kid that I was training this fall. He's been playing organized ball for a few years. And our last training session, I asked him, like, what's your goal going into the season? And he didn't really know, right? And that's okay. Like, I don't expect you to know off the top of your head, but he kind of said a few things that, were kind of like generic answers. And to make a long story short, I gave him some specific things that I feel like he could go into the season focusing on. Right? Because if you just go into the season or into the game, just kind of like whatever happens, then you're not going to be consistent. And, you're kind of just winging it, right? So long story short, his dad texted me a couple weeks ago and was like, yeah, he had like 30 points, most he's ever scored. And he's playing in a rec league, and I'm not trying to down
Who's this
play
again?
that arm.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah. So I'm not trying to downplay that, it's a rec league, but if you would have told me, yeah, this kid will score 30 points in an organized basketball game, I would be like, probably not. So, I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if you did this or if you just kind of went out there, but going into games, let's just talk about, let's start with high school, right? High school or college. Like, what was going through your mind, right? Like, going into a game, what were you trying to accomplish individually? Because I think, a lot of players, especially ones that aren't necessarily, the go-to person, they kind of struggle with kind of what to go into a game focusing on.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it depends on, what your role is within the team, right? Like, if I know, okay, I'm the go-to guy as far as a scorer and just, setting the tone for my team, then I know there's a certain aggressiveness that I have to play with on both ends of the floor, right? So I think it starts with knowing your role first and understanding, if I do this at a high level, night in and night out, I'm going to give my team a better chance to win the game. So, like, for me, right, like, my junior, senior year, I knew I was going to have to, have the majority of the scoring load. So, having a certain number that I wanted to hit as far as points, so, that was usually in the 20 to, 30 range. And I knew if I hit that, then, I was going to give my teammates a good chance to win the game. And that was on the scoring front.
Notice he said win the game, not get a scholarship.
Yeah, and that was going to be the last thing I was going to lead with, but might as well get in. Yeah, win the game. Like, there's going to be nights where I'm probably not going to score that much, which has happened a lot. But I know, okay, if I'm not scoring and somebody else is, I'm going to freaking give them the ball. It's that simple. Or if I'm not scoring, but I'm not letting my man score, I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
If I'm bringing energy, if I'm rebounding, if I'm talking, I'm going to affect the game in some way, shape, or form that doesn't necessarily have to do with scoring. So it takes a certain, I think, level of awareness to what it takes to win basketball games. And again, we glorify scoring and all that stuff, which is great, but I knew at certain points, I wasn't always the go-to guy when it came to scoring. Like, there was times in college where I just had to play a role, and I knew, okay, if I can pressure the point guard and force him, into certain situations where he can't initiate the offense, I'm doing my job.
Yep.
I knew if I, could get in the paint and feed certain guys and hit our shooters, it'll give us a good chance to win. So, again, most importantly, man, you got to understand what your role is on that team, to communicate with your coach, understand what they need you to do to help the team win, and then ultimately you gotta take pride into that, because you can score 1 million points, but if you're not winning, I don't care. You're not about to get recruited like that.
You shouldn't.
So,
now those are all great answers, and I know from a high school and college level, something that is probably the most taken for granted thing is scouting report. A lot of players in high school and college, they don't really read their scouting report, or when the coach is going over it before the game, you're thinking about other things. Let's just call it what it is, right? And I've been there, but game by game, whether you're the star player or you're a role player, you're going to have to really hone in on that scouting report. And the practice before the game, typically you guys will go over their stuff and certain players and stuff like that. That stuff matters, because I'm sure, Austin, there are games where you knew, all right, they may go zone, or, and I may not be able to, not necessarily score the way I normally score, but I may have to be a better passer in this zone and really focus on getting in the teeth of the defense, because they're going zone to try to prevent me from scoring type of situation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to be able to find Jonathan or find whoever the teammate was. So as a go-to guy, I'm sure there were also times where you knew, all right, I got to get Jonathan going or look for him because I'm not going to be able to win without him or whoever it was.
Yeah.
The young boys, Dorian, when you were playing with them. So
there's also an energy as well, right? Like, you're on the road and it's a Tuesday night and all right, we're not about to have our home crowd. You can feel, a certain energy. You can look at guys in warm-ups. Like Coach Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, before the game, saw his clip. He's like looking people in the eyes like, okay, yeah, he's ready. You can sense that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I know certain guys aren't ready, then that tells me, all right, I gotta come out guns blazing. Like I still do it to this day in these leagues. Like, hey, first touch, I'm shooting it. Like, I don't care where I'm at, I'm shooting it. But I'm letting my teammates. It's not even about me. I'm letting my teammates know, like, this is the type of vibe I'm on.
Yeah.
And the opposing team, letting them know, hey, like, I'm attacking tonight, so like y'all better be ready. So I mean, there's a lot of layers that go into it, but again, I think it ultimately comes down to you knowing your role, but also knowing, there's certain ways that you can put your footprint on the game, but there's a certain level of intensity and intellect that you have to do it with.
Right. And notice a lot of that stuff wasn't statistics based. It was energy. It was mindset, right? And setting that tone. And I've dealt with this, to be honest with you, with family members, and even some people that are close to me, when it comes to me knowing what I have to do going into a game versus what some of the criticism I may get, after a game, right? And I had to tell people sometimes, like, look, I understand, like, that I can be more aggressive and I can shoot more, but, I mean, I had 8 assists and no turnovers, and I locked up the point guard. And we won the game.
Yeah, we won the game.
So that's part of the reason why it's important, because as a player, you have to know clearly what your goal and what your role is going into a game. If you don't know, ask your coach. But sometimes, your coach may have lower expectations than you have for yourself, and you need to make your coach raise his expectations or her expectations based off of the standard that you have and you actually executing on that. There were games where I go into it and I'm like, look, I know that I have to be more aggressive, right? Because of the matchup, the lineup that we're playing with, the style of play, right? There are games where I've always been a defense, kind of facilitator type of point guard first, but it's like, all right, the starting point guard is their leading scorer, and everything runs through him. So I have to disrupt him.
Yeah.
Right? And if I do that, then I put my team in a position to win. But you have to know where you are as a player, one, because some of you go into games and go into seasons like, yeah, I'm about to try to score 15 to 20 today, but you haven't scored 10 points.
Ever.
Yeah. Or, I'm about to average this, or I'm trying to be all conference. And I'm all for it, shooting for the stars, but what happens is you don't come close to those goals, and then now you're lying to yourself, and you're beating yourself up, and you're not confident. Or there are other people who come to you with those goals. Hey man, like, you need to be scoring this much, you should be doing this, you should be shooting this much. And in reality, you may need to just go into that game like, look, I'm going to shoot 5 to 6 good shots confidently. right? Like, and that's because you haven't done that yet. So that's why I want to talk about this, because we train a lot of players who get better in our sessions and stuff like that. But when and this isn't as common with us, because most of the players we train end up performing better in the game. But there are some players who you have to give them goals, right? As a coach, trainer, and as a parent or sibling that actually knows what they're talking about. Right. Because if you don't do that, they may leave a game, and they may have won the game, but they may leave the game thinking, man, I didn't play well. Because I always ask the kids I train if they're in season, how did you play, or how do you think you played? And a lot of them are used to thinking of, well, how many points did I score? Right. And, if they have a good offensive game, I had this many points, and they're talking great about, they're talking confidently about it. But if they don't necessarily score a ton, they're kind of like, I did all right. I did play good defense, and I took some charges. I got some steals, made my free throws, and I'm like, but they're saying it like timidly. I'm like, no, dog, like, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Part of it, parents are the problem too, though.
Big problem.
Parents aren't praising them for the defense that they're playing. They're not praising them for that deflection that they got. They're not praising them for that loose ball that they saved that led to a run-out layup to tie the game or win the game, or that pass that they made that led to that three to go up 2. Instead, they're worrying about, Lil Johnny only had 4 points, and it brought their average down from 10 to 8 or something. So, parents are the problem too, man. Again, there's other ways that are so important than just scoring. Because the reality is, man, there's only 2 guys that can do whatever the heck they want on the court, typically. Maybe there's a third, but
that comes off the bench. It's kind of like a spark, but yeah.
People got to understand, players and parents, like your child, they're they're at that point for a reason. And until they're able to show in practice that they can be that person that can shoot X amount of shots, then you're going to have to figure out different ways to stay on the floor. Because that's what it comes down to. Are you on the floor? Are you finishing games? Because if you're not, then that's a problem. And it's showing the coach or, your teammates that you're limited in how you can affect the game. Right? So, again, one cheat code, and I tweeted this the other day, I saw, or put it on Instagram. It was a clip of Kobe in practice just locking up. He's bringing energy, and, he's guarding the best guy. That's how you earn minutes, man.
Watch the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix.
Yeah,
watch that.
You don't have to just score. Like for me, I remember I was playing. This was when I was playing with the Jackals, this professional league here in the States. Actually, one of this in the TBL.
Really good league.
Really good league. Really good league. Look it up. And my minute, I wasn't playing as much as I knew I could have been, but I wasn't being realistic. I wasn't doing what I needed to do in practice. But I remember getting my opportunity, and it started on defense, man. I got some steals, I got some deflections, and that's what kept Coach going back to me. And then eventually, I had a breakout game with 21 points, and I became probably the leading scorer off the bench. But again, it started with me knowing, okay, Coach likes what I'm doing. That's not scoring, so I'm going to continue to do that. Right. But I know deep down I can freaking score.
Yeah.
So when my opportunity comes and I start scoring, now it's he's showing more.
Right.
So, Just cheat code.
You said easy math, right?
Cheat code.
How do you stay on the floor?
Yeah. Play defense.
Yeah.
Have energy.
Yeah.
Be a good teammate. That's what's going to get you on the floor. And if you can do that, then you start to inch your way into, like, I had a kick out three. I made a nice move to the basket. While you're still doing the things that you were doing to keep you on the floor. So.
I mean, I don't have much to add. The thing that I wanted to kind of piggyback off of is if you want to have more opportunities to score, it sounds simple, but you got to be on the floor to do that.
That's it.
If you're not on the floor because you're not playing defense or you haven't earned the coach's trust in some way where they're like, I can't take him or her off the floor because of X, because of Y, whatever the answer, whatever the reason is. And that's literally how I went from not like playing consistently my senior year of high school to starting. Because there was a game, it was Oakton away, where energy was dead. The starters didn't have their best game. And Zach Ozick and I, just off energy and effort and dog, like kind of willed us to a win. And after that point, coach started me, right? And he knew, all right, if I put Marshall in, he's gonna play defense. He's gonna do the little things. And what ended up happening is it earned his trust to give him the opportunity to try to be more aggressive on offense. It was always turnovers and playing confident with me, right? That's why, even though I played good defense, he had to make sure I was going to take care of the ball and that type of deal. But what ends up happening, and I'll end with this, me playing more increased my confidence. So when I got my opportunities on offense, I was more confident. But I wouldn't have been that confident if I wasn't on the floor, and I was only on the floor because I did other things.
And last cheat code, know the plays.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be on the floor if you don't freaking know the plays.
Yeah.
So know the plays.
That's it.
We on our Grussle,
Clock in.
grinding our hustle.
Episode
Clock
97.
in.
Know the play. That's the title. Know the play. Appreciate y'all, man.
Common sense stuff.
See you on next week. That's a life ball, actually.